12 days before Thanksgiving, I overheard my devoted daughter scheming to embarrass me before all the visitors, label me as mentally unstable, and force me out of my own residence. Betrayal from family cuts the deepest. I quietly adjusted my strategy, transforming her scheme into my countermeasure. On November 27th, she phoned. "Dad, where are you? The guests are arriving." I chuckled. Check my desk drawer. What she discovered caused her to shriek, and her entire existence crumbled. Revenge tastes sweetest when served with cold precision. Before proceeding, please subscribe to the channel and comment with the current time in your location. The medical visit concluded 30 minutes ahead of schedule. I arrived home in my driveway at 2:45 rather than 4:00, shutting off the engine and pausing briefly in the November warmth. Irvine in fall, still reaching 90 degrees. The sunlight fading colors to white. My joints throbbed from the journey. 70 years of existence leaves its traces. I took my keys and slipped in via the garage entrance, the quieter option compared to the main door. My boots slipped off routinely. Sarah disliked dirt tracked across the floors. Her domain now, it seemed, though I remained unaware at that moment. Sounds floated from the upper level, my study. Sarah's giggle first, that distinct tone when she felt triumphant, followed by Michael's resonant tone, phrases I couldn't fully discern. I halted at the staircase base, gripping the banister. Sturdy maple. I'd restored it myself 12 years earlier. Sarah's words sharpened. Dr. Harrison endorsed all the forms. The evaluation verifies advancing cognitive impairment. By Thanksgiving, we'll arrange the conservatorship session. My fingers clenched the railing. Michael's reply echoed in the still home. And the property transfer papers. Once he's ruled incapable, you'll gain total authority. $750,000. We can settle my loans at last and begin anew. The color left my cheeks. I sensed it occurring. That icy surge descending into my torso. Sarah once more, nonchalant as chatting about the forecast. The elderly gentleman has no clue. He still believes I'm his loyal child. 3 more weeks, and this place belongs to us. I remained immobile. An architect's brain processes data methodically. Weight assessments, tension spots, framework stability. My thoughts employed those methods here. They aimed to rob me of all I had. The residence I'd acquired with my deceased spouse. The autonomy I'd protected rigorously through 3 years of solitude. My self-respect. Steps traversed the study floor overhead. I retreated noiselessly, each movement deliberate. Back via the utility area, out the garage door, into the vehicle. I sat there with the door sealed, gazing at the wheel until my respiration steadied. 15 minutes, perhaps. Could have been 45. When I eventually entered, they were preparing food in the kitchen. Sarah glanced up, beaming. That expression I'd relied on for 40 years. "Dad, how did the appointment go?" I crafted a grin back. "All good. Just standard examination. How was your job today?" "Dear," she resumed, slicing produce. "Oh, typical dull insurance processing. Hey, you're still set to host Thanksgiving here." "Right, I've welcomed some acquaintances." I affirmed with a nod. Remained silent. Took a seat at the counter. Michael eyed me, a hint flashing in his gaze. Doubt, remorse. I ate deliberately, observing them, compelling myself to ingest. That evening, I bided my time. Their chamber door shut at 10:45. I attuned to the home's settling, the known groans and murmurs of a building I understood deeply. At 1:00 a.m., I donned dark attire, a remnant from my military service, and proceeded through the cooking area to the waste containers outdoors. 4 sacks. I examined each systematically. Tea leaves, fruit rinds, spam mail, then in the reuse container, folded amid delivery cartons. Documents, official papers. I flattened them beneath my compact light, palms trembling despite my composure efforts. Application for urgent conservatorship and oversight regarding Rudolph Henry Thompson, a purported disabled individual. I rested on the chilly garage surface clutching this item, perusing my daughter's notes in the edges. One section underlined in blue: individual exhibits substantial mental deterioration and risks harm to himself. Fabrications, detached, premeditated deceptions. I don't recall the duration I lingered there. Sufficient for my limbs to numb. Sufficient for the fury to solidify into something chillier, keener, practical. At 3:00 a.m., I rose, creased the file meticulously, tucked it in my coat. Tomorrow, I'd seek clarifications. Tomorrow, I'd devise a strategy. I approached the residence, halted at the entrance, glanced back at my automobile. 10 days until Thanksgiving. 10 days until they intended to ruin me. My teeth gritted. I unlocked the door and entered. Morning rays filtered through the sleeping quarters' shades, tinting all in soft amber. I hadn't rested. Couldn't. The conservatorship application sprawled over my modest workstation like proof at a felony site, which it essentially was. My architect's intellect had operated overnight, evaluating, computing, constructing resolutions as I'd once designed overpasses and commercial structures. I retrieved a new journal, commenced listing inventories, weaknesses, schedule, the residence, my residence, appraised at $750,000. Sarah and Michael had resided here without charge for 3 years, I calculated instinctively. 2,500 monthly fair rent times 36 months equals $90,000 they owed me. But they had no intention of reimbursing. They aimed to seize all. The vault in my wardrobe contained the true arsenal. I input the code. Margaret's anniversary still after 4 years since her passing, and extracted the files. Title to the property, solely in my name. Financial summaries. Testament. All Sarah and Michael had likely duplicated during their 3 years of open entry. They'd had ample preparation time. That was evident. I laid it out, comparing against the conservatorship request. They possessed health records somehow acquired from Dr. Harrison. Likely observer accounts prepared. Legal files arranged beforehand. This wasn't spontaneous. This was deliberate. Systematic, nearly expert. My design expertise activated fully then. Every issue possesses a remedy. Every edifice has vulnerabilities. If they desired the residence, I'd eliminate the residence from the scenario. Straightforward. Dispose of it prior to the conservatorship proceeding. I activated my computer, queried California conservatorship timelines. The findings appeared gradually. Suburban connection, even in Irvine, 3 to 4 weeks post-submission, usually. They'd referenced Thanksgiving as their deadline. That provided me 10 days at most, possibly fewer if they'd submitted already and service hadn't occurred yet. 3 years, I whispered to the vacant space. 3 years I offered them shelter, and this is their repayment. I stopped, examining the request. All right. They wish to engage in judicial maneuvers. I constructed buildings for 45 years. I understand bases and how to dismantle them. At 9:00, I placed my initial call. Certification service in Los Angeles. The lady responding sounded youthful, competent. I sought an urgent slot to confirm asset possession and assess my disposal privileges. She had availability at 11:15. I captured images of each conservatorship request page with my device. Uploaded to a secure online storage Margaret had assisted me in establishing years prior. Then I refolded the original precisely as discovered and restored it to the reuse container. They mustn't learn I'd uncovered their plot. That was vital. On my pad, I outlined a chronology. Today, November 16th to Thanksgiving, November 27th, 11 days. I deducted 1 for caution. 10 days to vend a residence. Absurd. Likely unfeasible. But I'd achieved unfeasible previously. California asset regulations displayed on my monitor. I browsed the clauses. Judicial terminology I'd mastered from decades of building agreements. There. Provision 42.18. Asset holder maintains complete authority to vend until tribunal formally pronounces incapacity. The conservatorship request wasn't a judicial directive. It was merely a request. I retained command. Legally. Regardless. Sarah and Michael departed from the spare chamber at 10:00. I'd brewed coffee, situated myself at the breakfast nook with the periodical extended. The image of normalcy. Dad, are you all right? You appear exhausted. I looked at Sarah, allowed my expression to reveal suitable weariness. The medical visit yesterday drained me. Nothing grave. You two have agendas today. Michael observed me with squinted eyes. Certain you're fine, you appear altered. I produced a mild grin, merely contemplating Thanksgiving. Large gathering meal. Ought to be unforgettable. They departed for employment at 10:30. Michael's SUV rumbling along the path. I observed through the pane until they rounded the bend. Then I collected my papers and headed to Los Angeles. The certification bureau occupied a commercial strip between a beauty parlor and an accounting firm. Amanda Lawson greeted me in a compact meeting space, polished in a Navy outfit, perhaps 55. She examined my title with meticulous care. Mr. Thompson. This title lists you as exclusive proprietor. You possess absolute right to vend. But such an accelerated schedule. She gazed up. May I inquire about the haste? I selected my phrasing cautiously. Let's state I've discovered my housing arrangement is impending alteration. I prefer to direct that alteration. Her demeanor changed, worry piercing the expert facade. If anyone is coercing you, no one is coercing me. My tone emerged stronger than planned. I'm deciding. Can you suggest a property lawyer who operates swiftly and maintains discretion? She regarded me for an extended instant, then assented gradually, retrieved a contact card from her workstation compartment. David Harlan, Premier Agent in Irvine for rapid, private transactions. Mention I referred you. I accepted the card, sensed its substance between my digits. Raised script, superior. Back in my vehicle, I lingered in the lot. Device in grasp. 10 days. I input the digits. 1 chime, 2 chimes. Harlan Realty. David speaking. I inhaled. Mr. Harlan, I must vend my residence and require it completed prior to Thanksgiving. A hesitation. That's 11 days distant. My tone was firm. I'm conscious. Can you accomplish it or not? David's words still resonated in my mind. I can secure 4 committed purchasers by tomorrow if the valuation is appropriate. Tomorrow the term savored of opportunity. I rested in the lot outside Amanda Lawson's facility, staring at the contact card she'd provided. Estate counsel, her notation stated, someone who grasps urgency. The clock on the dash indicated 4:20. Sarah and Michael wouldn't return for 90 minutes. Adequate time. The bureau was compact, upper level of a renovated townhouse. Amanda met me in the discussion area, younger than anticipated, maybe 45. keen gaze behind rimless lenses. I extended the imaged conservatorship files across her surface. She perused quietly, her look darkening per sheet. Ultimately, she looked up. Mr. Thompson, this file asserts you possess severe dementia, roam at night, neglect meals. It's authorized by a Dr. Harrison. Did you encounter this physician, never encountered him? The phrases emerged harsher than intended. But he authorized documents declaring I'm incapable. How is that lawful? It's not, it's deception. She struck the request. But demonstrating that requires duration. Duration they're denying you. I inclined forward. What's my action, judicial action? Amanda didn't waver. Vend all today, tomorrow at latest. Transform to cash holdings. Vanish the residents from beneath them. It's yours. You hold every privilege. She imaged each sheet, constructing her own dossier, vowed utter secrecy. Then she had me authorize something. Restricted authority of representation. She termed it. Safeguard if Sarah advanced quicker than foreseen if I became inaccessible. The term lingered between us. How limited is my opportunity, I queried. She accessed judicial submission logs on her computer, navigated recent entries. No request submitted yet in the system. They're likely delaying until post-Thanksgiving to surprise you. She regarded me over the display. That grants you perhaps 12 days utmost. 12 days. Under 3 weeks to disassemble a lifetime. I contacted David Harlan from Amanda's bureau, placed him on loudspeaker. Mr. Thompson. His tone filled the modest space. Fortunate timing. I possess an eager financier from New York. All-cash acquirer desires swift conclusion. He'll offer full amount. $750,000 for velocity. Can you prepare? Amanda nodded toward me. You have it, I stated. Dispatch the forms. I'll authorize today. Your daughter resides with you. Correct. Does she require authorization? The title bears one designation. Mine. She authorizes nothing. Following the discussion, Amanda presented a binder. All you require, transaction approval, fresh account details, my private contact, conceal this. I accepted it. Sensed its mass, not merely sheets, authority. My authority. For 3 years, I'd been the bewildered senior in their tale. Now I was revising the conclusion. My subsequent destination was a financial institution I'd never utilized previously. Bank of America, 3 cities away in Anaheim. Not my regular Chase where Sarah likely had connections. The supervisor established a fresh savings account, organized for electronic deposit of transaction funds. I ensured Sarah's designation appeared nowhere. When I entered my driveway at 600, all appeared standard. I stationed in my customary location, entered via the primary entrance, announced. I'm home, as always. Suspended my keys on the identical peg. Sarah emerged from the cooking area. Dad, where were you this afternoon? I attempted contacting. I'd practiced this. Device battery depleted. I was at the public library, then cruised around, pondering Thanksgiving dishes. You still desire turkey here? Her posture eased. Certainly. I've invited the Millers, the Garcia clan, perhaps 12 individuals total. You don't object. Right, this place adores gatherings. Your mother always declared that. I hesitated. Let the recollections linger between us. Let's create a genuine festivity. She beamed, approached, and embraced me. It will be. Dad. It truly will be. I perceived the falsehood in her gaze. Uttered nothing. That evening, I lay awake hearing their subdued tones through the partition. Scheming. Constantly scheming. My device vibrated. Message from David Harlan. Evaluation planned tomorrow. 11:00 a.m. Purchasers' Council preparing agreements. You'll need to be ready to authorize by 10 p.m. I responded, I'll be present. Erased the note. Erased the whole conversation chain. Gazed at the overhead. Tomorrow the residents entered the market. Tomorrow their entire scheme collapsed. But they couldn't learn. Not yet. Footsteps in the corridor. Sarah passing my entrance, likely verifying if my illumination was extinguished. I shut my eyes, inhaled evenly, consistent. The steps paused outside my chamber, then proceeded. My eyes opened in the obscurity. My wake-up didn't rouse me. I'd never dozed. Every 60 minutes, I'd verified my device. Nothing from David, nothing from Amanda, nothing signaling issues. At 8:00, the bath began flowing in Sarah's washroom. Standard morning pattern. Michael's buzzer resounding through the barrier. All ordinary. Except today. Outsiders would traverse this residence, assessing what Sarah assumed she'd acquire. I attired meticulously. Collared blouse, proper trousers, not overly dressy, not dubious. Just a gentleman with morning tasks. I needed to depart before 11:00. In the kitchen, I prepared morning meal. Bread, omelets, brew. Sarah descended at 8:15, already browsing her device. Morning. Dear, major plans today. She scarcely looked. Employment until 4:00, then shopping for Thanksgiving provisions. You lunch with former associate from the company. I spread topping on my bread gradually. Paul Reynolds. You recall, Paul, we collaborated on the Wilson Plaza venture together. Uh-huh. She wasn't attentive. At 10:25, I encountered David Harlan at a cafe 4 blocks from the residence. The assessor sat beside him. Older fellow with a notepad. Expert manner. I surrendered my residence key, examined the assessment list, authorized initial pacts. Purchaser adores the area. David stated, agreement is firm. He's driven. Good. I observed the assessor direct toward his vehicle, toward my abode. Maintain discretion. Always do. By 10 p.m., I rested in David's bureau authorizing the ultimate files. Acquisition pact. Revelation documents. Conveyance permission. Settlement summary. $750,000. Conclusion date. November 25th. Day prior to Thanksgiving. Electronic deposit to my fresh Bank of America account. David regarded me across his workstation. You're certain about this schedule, entirely certain. Each endorsement felt like a blow against Sarah's scheme. At Bank of America, the supervisor handled my electronic deposit specifics, assisted me establish a secure storage compartment. I transferred my contingency funds from the old compartment at Chase. Also placed something I'd crafted last evening, a counterfeit testament, composed on my vintage printer, T-marked sheet. Intentionally unsteady endorsement I'd rehearsed until it appeared genuine. I bequeath my complete holdings, including residence and all resources, to my cherished daughter, Sarah, dated 4 years prior, positioned conspicuously in my home vault, where she'd locate it. Let her believe she'd triumphed already. This is rather a substantial electronic deposit, the supervisor stated. $710,000 after charges. Certain you want it all in savings, we offer placement choices. Savings, I require instant availability. I met his gaze, and I require this account fully detached from my prior accounts. Fresh summaries to a postal box. Not my residence address. He assented gradually. Didn't inquire why. I drove beyond my residence at 3:00. The assessor's vehicle rested in the path. David's automobile adjacent. I looped the neighborhood 3 times before stationing further along, awaiting. They departed at 3:15. I waited another 20 minutes, then proceeded home. Sarah was in my workspace when I arrived, rummaging through my workstation compartments. She startled when she detected me. "Oh, Dad, I didn't detect your entry. I was just—" She motioned ambiguously at the workstation. "These Thanksgiving notices require postage, and I believed you stored them here." I noticed documents shift mildly. Storage drawer ajar. Postage no. "Honey, I store those in the kitchen. Fourth compartment down. Always have. Don't you recollect right?" "Of course. Too hastily. Just overlooked. I'll verify there." I observed her intently. "Were you seeking something else? You appear anxious." Forced chuckle. "No, just occupied. So much to organize." "Hey, are you fine with 12 visitors? Perhaps 14. Whatever number you desire, dear." I maintained my tone tender. "This is your festivity, too." She exited swiftly. I heard her in the kitchen clattering compartments for show. Michael arrived at 7:00, discovered me perusing the periodical in the family room. "Rudolph, where were you all day? Sarah said you were absent for hours. Errands, financial institution, meal with Paul Reynolds. You recall Paul from my design days, we discussed past ventures." I turned to the page casually. "Tedious matters. Paul Reynolds. Right, I saw him store the name. Planning to verify. Probably let him. Paul was authentic enough. Retired now. Residing in San Diego. We'd collaborated 35 years prior. The deception held sufficient truth to endure. After they retired, I accessed my vault. Removed my authentic testament. All to philanthropy, as Margaret and I had intended. Substituted it with the forgery. Placed it where Sarah would notice it instantly if she searched again. Which she would. Late that night, I heard her tone through the partition. On the line. Words carrying in the quiet residence. Found his testament in the vault. All to me, just as Mom assured. The residence, the accounts, everything. Pause. Giggles. No, he's oblivious. Still organizing the turkey selections. I stood in the passageway listening. My device vibrated. Message from David Harlan. Conclusion verified. Wednesday at 3:00 p.m. Purchasers' funds already secured. This is proceeding. Wednesday at 3:00, the residence became another's. Wednesday at 3:00, Sarah's scheme perished. But tonight, she was rejoicing her unavoidable success. I responded. "See you Wednesday." Erased it. Walked toward my chamber. Past Sarah's entrance. Her tone again. "By Saturday, we'll have him labeled incapable." The council said it's routine. My grip tightened on the handle. Saturday. They were advancing quicker than I'd assumed. I entered my chamber, closed the entrance quietly. Tomorrow was Monday. Tuesday. Thanksgiving preparation. Wednesday. Last moment particulars. Thursday. Thursday altered all. I hadn't activated the illumination. Navigating pre-dawn gloom like a specter in what was no longer my abode. 3 valises waited by my sleeping quarters entrance. Garments, files, images of Margaret. The necessities of a man who'd learned to journey lightly. The conclusion occurred Wednesday. The electronic deposit arrived Thursday morning. 710,000. Pristine, conclusive, unchangeable. Now arrived the toughest portion. Departing. I verified my timepiece. 6:20. Sarah and Michael wouldn't rouse for another 60 minutes. Ample time. The valises felt lighter than anticipated as I transported them downstairs. I hesitated at the base, attuning to the residents settle around me. Every groan familiar. 45 years of recollections in these surfaces. The railing Margaret had desired updated, the tile floors we'd restored together, the cooking area where Sarah took her initial strides. I stored the recollections, continued moving. My workspace waited in shadow. I opened the workstation compartment, the one Sarah had examined 3 times this week, and placed a packet inside. On it, inscribed in bold, dark letters. Sarah read this. Inside the memo I'd composed by lamp glow 90 minutes earlier. You desired files. Here's the sole one that counts. Acquisition agreement, November 24th, 2024. The residence is no longer mine, which means it's not yours either. I hope your Thanksgiving arrangements unfold precisely as you orchestrated them. The father you aimed to label unstable. I'd attached a duplicate of the sale pact, dated, endorsed, certified, before sealing the packet. I imaged all with my device. Safeguard, proof, verification of my mindset at this instant. Composed, logical, intentional. At 7:00, I loaded the valises into my trunk, ignited the engine, allowed it to heat, looked back at the residence one ultimate time. Dark panes, quiet surfaces, the entry light Sarah had neglected to deactivate last evening. I reversed out of the path, didn't glance in the mirror. Los Angeles was still slumbering when I reached the center. The Marriott Courtyard receptionist appeared surprised to see check-in at 8:15 on Thanksgiving morning. That's uncommon, she stated. Upbeat despite the early time. Family assembly later. I managed a faint grin, something similar. Though I won't be participating, which is precisely the objective. She appeared puzzled, but upheld her expertise. Well, enjoy your visit, Mr. Thompson. How long will you remain, sir? As long as necessary. I paid currency for 4 nights up front. The accommodation was typical. Workstation, seat, bed, view overlooking the metropolis. I unpacked systematically, suspended attire in the wardrobe, arranged remedies on the washroom surface, connected device charger, established a provisional control center on the workstation, Amanda's contact on quick dial, financial summaries in binder, roster of subsequent steps. At 10:00, I contacted Amanda Lawson. It's accomplished. I'm out. The memo in the workstation. She'll discover it when visitors begin arriving. And she questions my location. Rudolph. Are you secure? Her tone conveyed worry. Do you require anything? I'm fine. Better than fine. I gazed out at the Los Angeles horizon. For the first time in 3 years, I'm directing my own existence. The morning progressed slowly. I sat by the pane observing Thanksgiving vehicles increase. Families en route to meals. Individuals carrying desserts and covered dishes. Standard holiday patterns. At 1:00 p.m., I stared at my device, knowing what approached. The call, the revelation, the outburst. Part of me desired to deactivate it, vanish entirely. But no, I needed to hear it. Needed to hear the instant she realized all she'd conspired for had evaporated. My digit lingered over the power control, then withdrew. Let it chime. Let her fret. Let her comprehend what disloyalty feels like from the receiving end. At 3:10, the device illuminated. Sarah Mobile. I allowed it to chime 5 times before responding. Dad, where are you? Artificial warmth strained beneath. Visitors are present. The Millers just came. Everyone's inquiring about you. I'm precisely where I must be. Sarah, distant from you. Her tone escalated, anxiety seeping in. What, Dad? This isn't amusing. You assured you'd be here. We have turkey. I interrupted her. Examine my workstation compartment. Upper left. There's a packet with your name. Read it. Then you'll grasp exactly where matters stand. Workstation compartment. What are you? Background clamor. Michael posing queries. Visitors whispering. I held the device away from my ear, listening to her strides. She was walking. I could discern by the pace of her breath, the ambient sound shifting. Strides on tile, my workspace. I envisioned her hand extending for the compartment, opening it. The crinkle of paper. She'd located the packet. Dad, there's something here with my name. What is this? Her tone uncertain now, the artificial warmth fracturing. I shut my eyes. Open it. Sarah. Read every phrase. Quiet. The sound of paper ripping. Then nothing. 6 seconds. 12. I tallied them. At 18 seconds, I heard her breath hitch. At 24, a noise that might be a gasp or a weep. At 30, her tone returned. Barely a murmur. No, this can't. Then louder, harsher. Michael, get in here now. I pulled the device from my ear. Even distantly, I heard her shrieking. I held the device away from my ear. Even distantly. Sarah's tone tore through the speaker. November 24th. He sold it. November 24th. While we were, her words dissolved into incoherent noises. I brought the device back, spoke calmly into the turmoil. Sarah, I can hear visitors in the background. You might want to have this discussion privately. Her breathing ragged, desperate. You can't do this. You can't just... Then Michael's tone sharp. Give me the device. Sarah, give me fumbling noises. Michael came on the line. Rudolph, aggressive, almost a yell. What the hell did you do? Sarah's talking about some transaction. This is crazy. I set the device on speaker, positioned my tablet nearby, started audio recording, capturing all. What I did was safeguard my holdings from robbers. The residence sold Wednesday. Closed security. Funds in my account. It's finished. Finished. You think you can't just I can. I did. And Michael, I'm recording this discussion, so select your next words cautiously. A pause. Then barely restrained fury. You were influenced. Someone exploited you. We can prove you weren't sound. I nearly laughed. Bitter sound. Really, because I have mental assessments from 4 separate physicians confirming flawless mental function dated last week. How many physicians do you have saying otherwise? Oh, right. One who never actually assessed me. Dr. Harrison, wasn't it? Where are you right now? We need to resolve this in person, like adults. Like adults. You mean like the adult who planned to have me labeled unstable, or like the adult who falsified health files? I'll decline that discussion. His tone dropped. Menacing. You're creating foes, elderly gentlemen. Hazardous foes. I already had foes. I just didn't know they resided in my residence. I terminated the call, stopped the recording, saved it to online storage, protected folder, then blocked both their contacts, but not before capturing contact details, call history, prior messages, proof chain for Amanda. I poured liquid from the small refrigerator, hands stable, sat by the pane overlooking Los Angeles, watched Thanksgiving afternoon vehicles, processed what had just transpired. No remorse, only stern contentment. I messaged Amanda. They no reaction as anticipated. Sarah frantic, Michael menacing. Recorded all. What's next? Her reply came swiftly. Remain where you are. Don't interact further. I'll manage any judicial actions they take. 3 hours passed. I arranged files on my computer, began chronicling the chronology. Every dialogue, every assembly, every fragment of proof showing my capability, constructing a counterstory to whatever Sarah would assert. At 5:00 p.m., Amanda phoned. Rudolph, Sarah just submitted urgent request. Claims you're mentally incapable. Transaction was deceitful. She wants instant order to undo the deal. I anticipated this. We're ready. I activated my computer. Fingers moving across controls. What do we possess? The mental evaluations. The recordings. Proof of her conservatorship conspiracy. Her tone was stern but assured. We possess all we need. But she's portraying victim. Loving child attempting to shield bewildered parent. Some magistrates respond to that tale. Then we reveal the reality. The conservatorship request she planned to submit. The falsified health records. The 3 years of complimentary housing while conspiring to pilfer all. That's not a loving child. That's a swindler. Precisely what I plan to contend. But Rudolph, this becomes messier before improving. She's battling for her existence now. Individuals do frantic things when trapped. Let her attempt. I'm finished being anyone's prey. The sun was descending when my device buzzed. Unfamiliar contact. I hesitated, then responded. Sarah's tone completely altered now. No sobs, no frenzy, pure malice. You think you're smart. You think this is finished. I'll prove you're incapable. I'll prove you were manipulated. And when I do, all reverts to your holdings, which I control as your overseer. You just postponed the unavoidable, elderly gentleman, and made it far worse for yourself. See you in tribunal, Sarah. You'll regret this. I assure you. I disconnected, blocked the unfamiliar contact, but her words echoed in the silent hotel accommodation. Night settled over Los Angeles. I stood at the pane, watching urban illuminations activate. My device lay quiet on the workstation, all adversarial contacts blocked, but I knew they were out there scheming. Sarah with her urgent request, Michael with his menaces. I activated my computer, began composing the detailed chronicle of the last 12 days. Every dialogue, every file, every move they made, everything I countered. Amanda needed weaponry for Tuesday, I typed steadily, systematically. 3 hours passed. 4. At 10:00 p.m., email arrived from Amanda. Discovery files attached. Sarah's request claims you showed disorientation, recall failure, inability to manage finances for 8 months. She has observer statements. Michael, naturally, and someone named Dr. Harrison. I read the deceptions. Each more audacious than the previous, I replied. I have recordings proving the contrary, and evidence Dr. Harrison never assessed me. Send me your approach for Tuesday. Hit dispatch. Kept typing. Outside Thanksgiving evening enveloped the metropolis. Families concluding meals, viewing sports, exchanging thanks. I typed my truth into the gloom. The genuine conflict started Tuesday, but tonight I constructed my armory. January brought overcast skies and harsher realities. I sat in my hotel accommodation, now extended to weekly rate, reviewing Amanda's latest correspondence. The Tuesday session had proceeded favorably. Magistrate Patterson rejected Sarah's urgent request, found no prompt proof of incapacity. But Sarah wasn't finished. She'd engaged Leonard Baxter, a counsel known for forceful methods and dubious morals. Amanda's email detailed their fresh tactic. They're seeking complete mental assessment. Tribunal mandated. They claim your conduct. Vending residents abruptly vanishing on Thanksgiving verifies mental decline. Magistrate Patterson approved the assessment. You're scheduled for February 10th. I spent January readying. met with 4 independent mental health experts, underwent reasoning testing, recall evaluations, character analyses, each affirmed perfectly sound intellect, no impairment, no deficiency. Amanda gathered the paperwork, erecting our stronghold. Meanwhile, Leonard Baxter intensified, submitted motion asserting I'd pilfered family treasures, Margaret's ornaments, requested law enforcement probe. Investigator Ramirez contacted me on a Wednesday morning. Mr. Thompson, we received a complaint about potential theft of precious items from family abode. I met him at the precinct that afternoon. Brought verification. Images of Margaret wearing the ornaments in the 1990s. Marriage presents I'd bought. Coverage policies in my designation. Invoices showing $9,000 spent in 1990. Testament showing items bequeathed to me. Ramirez examined all. Closed his ledger. Mr. Thompson, this is quite thorough. Why would she allege theft if, because she's frantic, the conservatorship fraud failed? The residence is gone. Now she's attempting criminal accusations. It won't succeed. Case concluded within 72 hours. No theft happened. February 10th arrived crisp and bright. I appeared at Orange County Courthouse for the tribunal-mandated mental assessment. Dr. Elena Vargas, the tribunal-designated specialist, conducted a 7-hour evaluation in a plain exam space. Mr. Thompson, your daughter alleges you vended your residence impulsively without grasping repercussions. Guide me through your choice process. I responded with an architect's accuracy. There was nothing impulsive. On November 15th, I uncovered my daughter and son-in-law scheming to have me labeled incapable through falsified health files. I confirmed my judicial rights, consulted counsel, and executed a legal transaction of my asset. That's not disorientation. That's self-defense. You recorded dialogues without their awareness. Some might term that suspicious conduct. I term it proof gathering. When someone conspires to deprive you of your rights, documentation isn't suspicion. It's essential. Every recording I made was lawful under California's single consent regulation. She made annotations, and you felt endangered enough to abandon your abode permanently. I felt betrayed enough to remove their tool. The residence was their objective. I eradicated it. February 18th. Dr. Vargas's summary filed with tribunal. I sat with Amanda in her bureau as she read aloud. Individual demonstrates exceptional reasoning ability for age. Recent actions. Vending asset. Relocating display clear. Logical planning. No proof of impairment. Disorientation. Or deficiency. Individual's choice capacity fully intact. Amanda looked up, grinning. Rudolph, this is total exoneration. Vargas's summary demolishes their argument. Magistrate Patterson will reject. No doubt. Good. Now we submit our counterclaim. I want reimbursement for 3 years of them residing rent-free in my residence. I want compensation for slander, false law enforcement complaints, psychological strain. She paused. That's forceful. Are you certain you want to? I interrupted her. They attempted to pilfer my existence. Now they compensate for it. Literally. The session came swiftly. Magistrate Patterson sat behind his podium reading the decision with evident impatience. After examining Dr. Vargas's thorough evaluation, this tribunal finds no proof of mental incapacity. Mr. Thompson's actions, while perhaps unconventional, were logical responses to perceived dangers. Petitioner's motion is rejected. Case closed. Leonard Baxter rose. Your Honor, we seek. Magistrate Patterson lifted his hand. Counselor, Your client has squandered this tribunal's time with groundless charges. Be thankful I'm not penalizing her for trivial litigation. We're finished here. In the corridor afterward, Amanda and I stood by the pane. Through the glass, Sarah and Michael disputed, silent behind the barrier. But gestures screamed. Michael waving fiercely, Sarah weeping, Leonard Baxter departing, distancing himself from them. They'll submit insolvency, Amanda stated. You won't recover that $98,000. I don't require the funds. I required them to lose utterly. And they have. She examined my expression. You know, this ruins them. Their rating, their standing, their union probably. I observed Sarah through the glass. They attempted to ruin me first. They just did it quietly with grins and health forms. I did it judicially in open tribunal. The difference is I succeeded. Outside, February breeze carried remaining hints of chill. I stood on steps where months prior I'd received that call about false harassment allegations. Now, decision in hand. 98,000 Sarah and Michael didn't possess. Amanda touched my arm. You succeeded utterly. But Rudolph, they're not done being your issue. Insolvency proceedings. Possible criminal accusations for the falsification. They'll be in the system for years. You'll be linked to this chaos for my device buzzed. Unfamiliar contact. Mr. Thompson. This is Officer Elena Gomez, Los Angeles PD. We received a complaint that you've been making menacing calls to Sarah Davis. She's submitted for protective order. We need you to come to the precinct for inquiry. I halted walking, stood on tribunal steps. Officer, I haven't contacted Sarah since Thanksgiving. I can verify it. Device records, observer statements. Still need you to come in today if feasible. I shut my eyes. Sarah wasn't just frantic. She was burning bridges, every judicial path obstructed. So now false precinct complaints, protective orders, fabricated proof. I messaged Amanda. They submitted false intimidation claim. Police want declaration. Her response instant. Don't go unaccompanied. I'll meet you there in 40 minutes. And Rudolph. Time to demolish them entirely. I gazed at that message. Time to demolish them. Yes, it was. Officer Gomez guided us to the questioning space. Plain white surfaces, steel surface, recording gear. Amanda set her case down with intentional calm. I sat opposite Gomez, hands clasped. Mr. Thompson. Gomez commenced. Sarah Davis alleges you've called her 19 times in past 3 weeks. Left messages with menaces. She's requesting urgent protective order. Amanda slid document across the surface before I could speak. Officer, here are Mr. Thompson's device records from Verizon. 0 calls to Sarah Davis or Michael Davis since November 27th. 0 messages. 0 interaction of any sort. Gomez studied the records. Her demeanor shifted. Expert doubt to administrative annoyance. Someone was wasting her time. Miss Davis alleged 19 calls. These records show 0. She provided specific dates. February 5th, 6th, 9th. Your device didn't contact her contact once. Amanda's tone was expert frost because her allegations are invented. This is the 4th false accusation against my client. Theft, intimidation, and previously mental incapacity. There's a pattern here. Gomez looked at me. Mr. Thompson, you're free to depart. And for the record, I despise when people squander department assets on personal grudges. The probe collapsed within hours. Hotel monitoring footage showed I'd never departed Los Angeles during alleged menacing visits. The hotel supervisor confirmed my location, Gomez noted in her summary. Complainant's allegations demonstrably false. No proof of intimidation. Recommend no charges. Amanda requested a duplicate for tribunal records. Proof of malicious pursuit. March 5th. Amanda submitted my counter in Orange County Superior Court. $60,000 compensation for slander and psychological strain. $90,000 reimbursement for 3 years unpaid rent. Market rate $2,500 monthly. Criminal referral for health document falsification. Michael panicked when served. Called me directly. Bypassing counsel. Rudolph. Let's be sensible. We both erred. You've ended the residence. Fine, that's done. But this lawsuit, it'll ruin us financially. $25,000. That's all we possess. Take it and let's conclude this. I recorded the call. All you possess. That's intriguing. Michael, because 3 months ago you thought you'd have $750,000. My residence, my funds, my existence. Now you're offering me $25,000 like it's a kindness. We were mistaken. Okay. Is that what you want to hear? We were mistaken. No. What I want is exactly what I'm obtaining. Justice. See you in tribunal. April 10th. The session. Magistrate Patricia Klein presided, reviewing proof I'd assembled over months. Chronology on display board showing the 3-year conspiracy. Verified files proving falsification. Recordings demonstrating premeditation. Mental reports confirming my capability. Mr. Thompson, I've examined your proof. Magistrate Klein stated 3 years of free shelter while planning to defraud you of asset. Fabricated health documents. False precinct complaints. This tribunal finds defendant's conduct outrageous. Leonard Baxter attempted defense. Your Honor, my clients were worried about Mr. Thompson's well-being. Magistrate Klein interrupted him. Counselor, your clients falsified a physician's endorsement. That's not worry, that's deception. Potentially criminal deception. Amanda presented our argument methodically. Your Honor, defendants exploited Mr. Thompson's kindness. Lived rent-free. Market value $2,500 monthly. 36 months. $90,000. Then attempted to pilfer his main asset through fraudulent conservatorship. We're seeking reimbursement plus compensation. Reimbursement is clearly justified. Mr. Thompson, you provided shelter, services, support for 3 years. I rose. Clear tone. Yes, Your Honor. Because Sarah is my child. I thought I was aiding family. I didn't know I was housing crooks. Magistrate Klein delivered the decision. Judgment for Plaintiff Rudolph Thompson. Defendants Sarah Davis and Michael Davis jointly and severally responsible $90,000 unpaid rent. $60,000 psychological strain compensation. Total $150,000. Additionally, I'm referring the falsified health documents to the prosecutor for criminal probe. We're adjourned. Sarah stood trembling. Your Honor, we can't. We don't have. Then you'll organize payment arrangement or face recovery. Should have considered that before committing deception. Next case. In the tribunal corridor. Amanda and I stood by the pane. Through the glass. Sarah and Michael argued. Silent behind the barrier. But body language screamed. Michael gesturing wildly. Sarah crying. Leonard Baxter walking away. Washing his hands of them. They'll file bankruptcy. Amanda said, You won't see that $150,000. I don't need the money. I needed them to lose completely. And they have. She studied my face. You know, this destroys them. Their credit, their reputation, their marriage probably. I watched Sarah through the glass. They tried to destroy me first. They just did it quietly with smiles and medical forms. I did it legally in open court. The difference is, I won. Outside, April wind carried last traces of winter. I stood on steps where months ago I'd received that call about false harassment charges. Now, judgment in hand. 150,000 Sarah and Michael didn't have. Amanda touched my arm. You won completely. But Rudolph, they're not done being your problem. Bankruptcy proceedings. Possible criminal charges for the forgery. They'll be in the system for years. You'll be connected to this mess for my phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. Photo attachment. Sarah and Michael's house. For sale sign in yard. Message below. Lost our home. Lost everything. Hope you're happy. This isn't over. I showed Amanda. She frowned. That sounds like a threat. We should. I deleted the message. Let them threaten. Let them flail. They have nothing left to hurt me with. I'm free. They're buried. That's enough. I started down courthouse steps behind me. Amanda called. Where are you going? I didn't turn back. To find a house in Santa Barbara. Maybe somewhere peaceful. Somewhere far from people who lie with smiles. I reached the bottom step. Kept walking. The war was won. Time to build something new. May arrived with harsh clarity. I sat in my Santa Barbara rental modest two-bedroom ocean views temporary haven while I searched for permanent home. Reading the bankruptcy filing Amanda forwarded Sarah and Michael. Chapter 7. Total liabilities $420,000. Assets practically zero. The $150,000 judgment I'd won sat atop their debt pile like a crown on ruins. Amanda's email. They'll discharge most of it. You might recover 15 cents on the dollar. Maybe less. Want to object to the filing? I typed back. No. Let them sink. The money had never been the point. Mid-May brought another update from Amanda. Sarah's employer, the insurance firm, had terminated her. Court records became public. Company policy prohibited employees involved in fraud investigations, even civil cases. Sarah filed for unemployment. Denied. Termination was for cause. Early June, Michael's consulting business collapsed. Clients discovered his court history through public record search. Canceled contracts. His professional profile showed seeking opportunities code for unemployed. Amanda's investigator reported they were 4 months behind on apartment rent. Late June, I received my first payment from the bankruptcy trustee, $412, partial liquidation of their remaining assets. The check memo line read, Thompson v. Davis, partial distribution. I framed it, hung it in my apartment. Not for the money, for the proof. July brought divorce papers. Amanda forwarded Sarah's lawyer's email. Relationship destroyed by financial stress and mutual blame. Sarah claimed Michael pressured her into the conservatorship scheme. Michael claimed Sarah initiated the entire plan. What do you think? Amanda asked on the phone. I think they're both deceivers blaming each other for getting caught. Mid-August final bankruptcy discharge granted. My judgment 94% uncollectible. Total recovered $4,600 from asset liquidation. Amanda's voice carried resignation. That's all you'll see. They have nothing left. Perfect. That was always the goal. Leave them with nothing. I created a folder on my laptop labeled Repercussions. Saved every document Amanda sent. Termination letter, bankruptcy filing, divorce petition, payment receipts. Not from spite. From an architect's need to document the complete structural failure I'd designed. In early June, during errands in Los Angeles, I drove past their apartment complex. Saw their car, old Toyota. Michael's SUV gone. Probably seized. Noticed a for rent sign on their unit. They'd been evicted. I felt nothing. Late July brought an envelope forwarded from my Los Angeles hotel. Sarah's handwriting. Handwritten letter. Tear-marked pages. Begging forgiveness. Michael had manipulated her. Could I help with rent? I read it once. Fed it through my shredder. Watched the strips fall into trash. I started house hunting seriously in August. Toured 6 properties. Focused on compact, efficient homes. No room for guests. No space for people who claimed to be family but acted like hunters. Each time a bankruptcy payment arrived. 4 total, May, June, August. I donated an equivalent amount to elder protection charity. 412 became 415. 1,020 became 1,025. Transforming their debt into safeguard for others. Amanda called mid-August with an update. Michael's attorney claims your spiteful lawsuit destroyed their lives. Says you could have accepted the $25,000 settlement. Implies you're the antagonist here. I replied by email. Spiteful. I used the legal system exactly as designed to remedy deception. They destroyed their own lives the moment they forged a doctor's signature. I just ensured there were repercussions. Late July. Sarah left a voicemail. I listened but didn't respond. Dad, it's me. I know you don't want to talk, but we're being evicted. Michael left. Took what little money we had. I don't know what to do. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. If you could just loan a few thousand to get back on my feet. I'm your daughter. Please. The message ended with sobbing. I deleted it. You stopped being my daughter when you called me the elderly gentleman and plotted to confine me. Actions have repercussions. You taught me that. Amanda's final update came in August. Bankruptcy discharge is final. Sarah kept her car. 16-year-old Accord. Only exempt asset. Michael kept nothing. They're officially divorced. She moved to San Diego, working retail at Walmart. He's living with his brother in Florida. Separate cities, separate lives, separate failures. You sound satisfied. I sound finished. There's a difference. A text came from an unknown number. Sarah from a new phone. Dad, I see you're in Santa Barbara. I looked up property records. Are you buying a house after everything? You get a fresh start. And I'm working retail. Living in a studio. Buried in debt that won't discharge for years. How's that fair? I read it twice. Started typing the response. Stopped. Deleted the draft. Blocked the number. Fair. She wanted to discuss fair. Fair was 45 years of providing for Fair was opening my home for 3 years. Fair was trusting my daughter. She gambled on my death or incapacity. Lost now lived with repercussions. That wasn't unfair. That was calculation. Late August evening. I sat on my rental's small patio, watching sunset paint Santa Barbara's coastal hills in vibrant hues. My phone showed 4 blocked numbers. Sarah trying different phones to reach me. Each block felt like closing a door. Final door. Permanent. My laptop displayed a property listing. 3-bedroom house. East Santa Barbara. 380,000. Ocean views. Half-acre lot. Compact. Manageable. Mine. The agent's email waited for response. Owner accepted your offer. Escrow opens tomorrow. Congratulations on your new home. My finger hovered over reply. Tomorrow I'd start paperwork. Tomorrow. New foundation. But tonight, I wanted to sit with this moment. The space between destruction and creation. My phone buzzed again. Same blocked number pattern. Sarah's 5th attempt today. I didn't even look. Just watched the sun sink behind the hills. Behind me, my laptop chimed. New email. Subject final bankruptcy distribution $189. I smiled. They were sending me money they didn't have, paying debts they couldn't afford, drowning in repercussions they'd built themselves. And I was buying a house by the coast alone, exactly as planned. The phone buzzed again. Different pattern. Amanda, I answered. Rudolph, I have news. The prosecutor's office. They're proceeding. Criminal charges for the medical forgery. Michael's being charged. Thought you should know. I looked at the darkening sky. Even now, repercussions were still unfolding. September 25th. I stood in my new living room, empty except for boxes and light streaming through windows, painting coastal views across bare walls. 3 days since closing. 3 days of sleeping on an air mattress, eating delivery, unpacking the essentials of a life rebuilt from ground up. My phone sat on the windowsill, silent for once. No blocked numbers this morning. No Sarah's desperate attempts. Maybe she'd finally accepted the permanent distance. Then it vibrated. I picked it up expecting Amanda with final escrow documents instead. Notification from Bank of America. Wire transfer received. $3,100 from Sarah Davis. Memo. Final payment. Sold car. Please forgive me. I stared at the notification. Felt nothing. Transferred the money to California Elder Abuse Prevention within minutes. A text arrived from unknown number. Sarah. Yet another new phone. Dad. I sent everything I have. $3,100. I sold my car. I'm taking the bus to work now. I need you to know. I'm sorry. Can we talk? Please, I read it. Didn't respond. Screenshot it. Sent to Amanda with message. Document this. Evidence of continued contact attempts. Afternoon brought furniture delivery. Simple pieces. Quality build. Everything chosen for one person's comfort. I directed movers. Arranged my bedroom. Set up a small office. Created space that was entirely mine. No guest room. No accommodation for family. Just my sanctuary. Evening. I sat on the back deck watching sunset over coastal hills. Phone buzzed. Another text from Sarah. I see you read my message. I know you did. Just one conversation. I'll drive to Santa Barbara. Please, Dad, I'm your daughter. My thumb hovered over block contact button. I pressed it. Then went into phone settings. Blocked all unknown numbers. Created whitelist. Amanda. Doctor. Utility companies. Contractors. Everyone else. Silence. Then deleted Sarah's contact entirely. Name gone. Numbers gone. Erased. I called Amanda that morning. She sent $3,100. Sold her car. Wrote, "Please forgive me." In the memo line, Amanda's voice was gentle. Rudolph. That's significant sacrifice. She's working retail. Has no car now. Probably walking or busing to work. Maybe she's I cut her off. Genuinely sorry she got caught. Genuinely sorry she lost. Not genuinely sorry she tried. I'm donating it to Elder Abuse Prevention. Let it protect someone else. Your sure last chance to build a bridge. I'm not in the bridge business anymore. I build walls now. Strong ones. The furniture delivery guy was cheerful, setting up my couch. Nice place. You retiring here, family? Nearby I arranged cushions. Retiring, yes. Family, no, just me. Solo living freedom. Right. No one telling you what to do. I managed a slight smile. Exactly. No one taking what's mine either. At sunset, standing on my deck, I read Sarah's text aloud to myself. I'm your daughter. Present tense. As if that's still true. As if signing fake medical documents, plotting conservatorship, stealing 3 years of my life. As if none of that severed the relationship permanently. I deleted the contact. You were my daughter, past tense. You chose to end that. I'm just honoring your choice. Amanda called that evening. Rudolph. Michael's indictment came through. 3 counts. Forgery. Attempted fraud. Trial probably next summer. Sarah might be called as witness. Will you attend? No. I don't need to see him in restraints. The legal system is handling it. I'm done watching them suffer. I'm not interested in their pain. Only my peace. So, this is really over. You're closing this chapter. I closed it when I blocked her final number. Now, I'm just living the epilogue. I unpacked boxes methodically. Clothes in closet, dishes in kitchen, photos of Margaret on the mantle, but no photos of Sarah. I'd removed her from the narrative of my life visually and emotionally. Set up my home office. Laptop on desk facing window view. Files organized. Amanda's number on speed dial. Legal documents in fireproof safe. Maintaining structure. Maintaining control. Maintaining victory. I walked the property boundary at sunset. Half-acre of coastal landscape. Cypress trees. Silence. Felt weight lifting from my shoulders. This was the first home in 6 years that was truly safe. No plotters. No predators. No family pretending love while planning theft. One final symbolic act. I took the old house key from Irvine. Kept in my pocket since November. Walked to the deck edge and threw it into the brush below. Watched it disappear into foliage and stone. Last physical connection to the betrayal gone. My phone buzzed one final time. Sarah. From yet another number. Dad. Please. I'm begging. I have nothing. No car. No savings. No family. You're all I have left. One chance. That's all I ask. I read it. Felt the pull. Old instinct. Father protecting daughter. Then remembered November 15th, her voice saying, "The elderly gentleman doesn't suspect a thing." Remembered the fake medical papers. Remembered 3 years of lies. I didn't block this number. Instead, typed my response. First direct message to Sarah in 10 months. You have exactly what you built. So do I. The difference is, I built mine on truth. Goodbye. Sarah. Sent it immediately. Blocked the number. Turned off the phone completely. Stood on the deck. Breathed. It was finished. The sun dropped behind the hills, taking the last light with it. I stood on my deck. My deck. My house. My life. Watching stars emerge over coastal peaks, somewhere in San Diego. Sarah was probably crying. Somewhere in Miami. Michael was probably meeting with his criminal attorney. I'd felt nothing about either scenario. Not satisfaction, not pity, nothing. They'd become strangers, expensive strangers, who taught me valuable lessons about trust and repercussions. But strangers nonetheless. My phone stayed off. Would stay off until morning. Maybe longer. In the kitchen, boxes still needed unpacking. In the bedroom, pictures needed hanging. In the office, files needed organizing. All of it mine to handle, mine to build, mine to protect. No one to betray me. No one to plot against me. No one to call me the elderly gentleman while forging documents with my name. I walked inside, locked the door, set the alarm, new system, new codes no one else had access, stood in the center of my empty living room, listening to the silence, perfect silence. Tomorrow, I'd unpack more boxes. Next week, I'd explore Santa Barbara paths. Next month, maybe join a carpentry class. The future stretched ahead. Mine to design, mine to build, mine to live. I'd started this story as a victim, ended it as an architect. They'd tried to bury me in paperwork and lies. Instead, I'd buried them in repercussions and risen above the wreckage. The war was over. I'd won. Not because I'd destroyed them, though I had, but because I'd built something they could never touch. A life without them. I turned off the lights. The house settled around me. Safe, secure, silent. Mine. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts on the story in the comments. To hear the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.